When I started in this industry, somebody told me something that has stuck with me for all these years. And they told me that when you're working with truck drivers, you must be a little bit of everything to them. So if they need a mother one day, you
That's
have
good.
to be that
Yo,
mom.
guys, this is good. This is some good info right here.
If they
This
need
helping me
a
out.
therapist one day, you
Yeah.
have to be that therapist.
Yeah.
So you're the person that's responsible for everything.
Right.
They must have a clear head, they have to keep moving, and they're leaning on you.
Absolutely.
So you have to keep that in mind in order to proceed and become successful in this business.
What's going on YouTube? This is Francisco with Covenant Dispatch LLC, and once again, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Like I told you guys already in when we did the Q&A and when we did the dispatch giveaway, I told you guys I was going to do an interview with somebody. So this is Michelle, and so Michelle has been in the industry of freight dispatching for
23 years.
23 years. So she, like I told you guys already, she's a well of information when it comes to that kind of stuff. And just as a reminder, we are going to be still doing the freight dispatch agent course, just as a reminder as to what I mean by that and how it's different from the independent freight dispatch course that I already have. So the independent freight dispatch course that I already have, again, guys, is for if you're looking to start your own business. And as an independent freight dispatcher, you're operating as an independent contractor. So you're providing those administrative services like invoicing, factoring, all that good stuff for carriers, but you're independent, so you're your own business essentially. And so for the freight dispatch agent course, it's going to be for the people who want to learn the industry but then go work for a company, maybe to gain more experience, or just maybe that's what you want to do as your career, you know. So what is generally the entry level like salary for a freight dispatcher with bare minimum to no experience?
Entry level, I'd say probably right now 32 to 35,000 a year.
32 to 35. So you guys hear that? That's not bad at all, especially if you don't really know too much. So the course is going to be designed for you guys to understand all of that. Like I said, Michelle's been doing it for over 25 years, so she knows a lot, and she's going to be the one that's assisting me in putting this course together. Also, the conference, the all-day conference that I told you guys I was going to put together, I'm still working out the details. It's going to be somewhere around 3 hours, and then we're going to do one-on-ones after the conference. I'm still putting the details together, but we should be able to open up 2. So each conference is going to be 15 people. So the first 15 people who purchase the tickets will be able to be as a part of the conference. So you know, we'll see how that goes. And then I was speaking with Michelle, and maybe we might even be able to open up 2 where she instructs one of them and I do the other one. But either way, I'll definitely keep you guys posted like I always do. But let me just jump right into the questions. So I had a lot of people email me questions, and so I basically consolidated all of them. There was only one person who asked specific questions that we'll get to that eventually. But I wrote her name down so that when she sees this, Tina, you know who you are. When you see this, you know, you'll get your answers directly in this video. So, all right, Michelle, so the first question basically is obviously like your name, which is Michelle.
Michelle.
Job title, which is a freight dispatcher, and then the company you work for. I don't know if you wanted to disclose that or it doesn't really matter.
Currently, I'm working for Creek Carriers.
Creek Carriers. So Creek Carriers is a company, obviously, is it an intermodal company? Or?
Actually, they are a over-the-road trucking firm.
Okay, over the road. So different, obviously different than intermodal, but
yes,
all within trucking. So the other question is, how long have you been involved in the freight dispatch field? I know you kind of broke it down 25 years,
yes,
more or less. So I guess we can kind of bypass that. Now, the other question is, what attracted you to work as a freight dispatcher?
Honestly, I got into this business by chance.
By chance.
I was married at the time, had young children. My husband was about to lose his health benefits for the family, and somebody recommended a job to me, and That's how I got started.
All right, you fell in love with it?
Yes.
Yeah, I remember I was speaking with my mom. My mom was telling me kind of about the other day. She said, "Man, I remember when I first started dispatching, it was like addicting. It was fun."
I
You're just
remember when
like,
your mom first
yeah.
started.
She's like, "Yeah, this is fun," just because you're kind of, I guess it is kind of fun because it's one of those things that it's a craft, and like once you get good at it, it's kind of like
But you love it or you hate it.
you love it or you hate it, right?
Yes.
Yeah, there's no gray area or
No.
anything like that.
No.
That makes sense though, especially trucking altogether. So then that leads basically to the next question, which kind of follows right after. And the question is this job stressful? And what is it like on a daily basis? So this question is kind of split up, but is the job stressful?
It can be.
Can be, depending?
Yes.
Okay, now does that depend on what kind of trucking or like OTR, LTL?
I think it is across the board with trucking in general. Because we work in an industry where you have breakdowns, you have accidents, you have things that are out of your control. That's what causes the daily stress.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. So on a day-to-day basis, kind of walk us through the process of kind of what you do when you get into the office, whether it be, setting up for the day before or whatever the case may be.
For me, it was always when I walked in, figuring out, first of all, how much freight I had
Okay.
to dispatch,
Okay.
checking to where your drivers are as far as location,
Okay.
so you can dispatch according to what makes the most sense.
Right.
And then dispatching the loads, which in itself can be a challenge if you're working with independent contractors that, oh, I don't want that, I don't want to
Yeah.
go there,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So
Absolutely.
in a perfect day, everything goes very smoothly and by the book, but that doesn't happen often.
Not often. So it varies. Which goes to why she said you either hate or you love it. So it seems as though one of the key factors that you have to have is organization skills, especially as a dispatcher. I mean, especially as an independent freight dispatcher, because, if you're selling your services to a carrier and they're not satisfied with how you're organized or how professional you are, then it's, you're kind of selling yourself short because it's your business. Whereas, if you're working for another company, it still would be smart for you to be, operate with organization, just because, then you can end up getting fired or something. So if they're not satisfied with your performance. So then the next question would be, can you explain exactly I have a lot of people that ask this question. Can you explain what intermodal trucking is and how it's different than truckload and LTL and OTR shipments and things like that?
Intermodal is based off of the rail yards. So we are picking up a container from the rail yard and at the end of the day delivering that container back to that same rail yard.
Rail yard. So, okay, so the difference would basically be, if, just so you guys are aware what rail yards are, you probably haven't seen them, depending on where you live at. I know I live in Harrisburg. I drive past one a lot. So basically, some shippers, depending on, if it being cost effective or depending on where it's being shipped to, would rather ship their loads on a rail, through a train, via a train. And sometimes it might even go on the rail yard and then be transported to another rail. And so it's intermodal because there's different modes of transportation as compared to a truck driver who might pick up a shipment in Michigan and transport it to South Carolina. They're transporting it through the truck, on the trailer the whole way through. So the way it kind of works with intermodal is they'll place the container on the rail, and then when a truck driver picks it up, they will already have a chassis to place the container on, all that good stuff. Some of you guys already are aware of most of the stuff if you watch my other videos. And then the other question is the average entry-level salary, which you already said. Now, what potential does somebody have if they're working for a company? What potential salary can they reach with, let's just say, 10 years of experience?
10 years of experience, you're probably looking, I would say between 55 and 70.
55 and 70. That's not bad at all. It honestly is not bad, especially you figure if you just graduated high school and you're looking to get into a field where, it can, like she said, it can be stressful, but, nothing too overwhelming. And trucking is fun. I love trucking. I honestly, I love it. And I've searched out all a bunch of different entrepreneurs, like real estate and, stock market, all that stuff. I love trucking. I don't think there's anything like trucking. So that leads me into the last a few sorts of questions. So these series of questions are from Tina Rowland. So Tina, if you're watching this, we're gonna answer these questions directly. I like these questions. So Tina says, my husband has been in trucking for 4 years and I've been dispatching for him for 2 years. So her first question is, what are some grievances or issues you've experienced throughout your time as a dispatcher for the most part? Things that are kind of reoccurring usually, that happen often.
I think the biggest one is probably money.
Money.
I mean, as independent contractors, drivers that are out over the road, it's all about dollars.
Dollars, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
And keeping the wheels moving.
Right. That's a lot of responsibility on your end as a dispatcher, because you're making these truck drivers. Whether you're working for a company or independent contractor,
it doesn't matter. You are responsible for what that driver makes.
Right. That's a lot of responsibility, especially some of these drivers, and they get anal and they get rude. Man, so that would lead into my next question then, which is, what are some things we should know as a beginner? So like basically someone who doesn't know really anything, and they're considering starting, what's something that is imperative? They have to know this specific thing in order before they start, as far as maybe work ethic, or I know we talked about organization skills, professionalism.
When I started in this industry, somebody told me something that has stuck with me for all these years. And they told me that when you're working with truck drivers, you must be a little bit of everything to them. So if they need a mother one day, you have to be that mom.
Guys, this is good. This is some good info right here.
If they need a therapist one day, you have to be that therapist.
Yeah.
So you're the person that's responsible for everything.
Right.
They must have a clear head. They have to keep moving, and they're leaning on you.
Absolutely.
So you have to keep that in mind in order to proceed and become successful in this business.
Yeah, that's really good, because it is true. As well as you being responsible for the revenue that they make, sometimes truck drivers, people, they're humans too. They have rough days, they have ups and downs, like we all do. They have family. Some of them driving over the road who don't get to see their families often. Like she said, sometimes you got to be a mother to them, give them good advice, maybe a therapist, maybe even depending on what you believe in. I know we believe in Jesus Christ over here, but
they may need that scripture reading once in a while.
They might need that every once in a while. They might need you to encourage them and uplift them. And so that's really good. I like that answer. The other question is, what are some things we should look out for? She says, I know some brokers are rude, but any other advice for beginners? So it kind of overlaps the last question, but I guess it specifically speaks about brokers.
So if you're on the broker boards and you're looking for freight to dispatch your own husband, like you said, I would say the best thing you can do is don't be afraid to negotiate.
That's good.
What they want is only a jumping off point. You have control of the situation. Make sure that your husband's making a profit by what he's doing.
That's good. Yeah, because I know when I first started, I would cold call brokers and not actually book a load, but I did that just to kind of get familiarized with the load boards.
Right.
So I would call them, act as though I'm booking a load. I had a decoy MC number I would use, and then ultimately I would never book the load. I would just kind of get off, and I recommend that strategy to a lot of people who are nervous about speaking with brokers. Just get on there. Some of them are straightforward. What's your MC number? Look, 500. This is all we can do. And it's like, whoa, but...
It's not that they're rude, though.
Yeah,
Please keep in mind that they're very busy and their phones are ringing off the hook.
That's true.
So you need to have a little bit of patience when dealing with them as well.
That's good. That's true. Absolutely. So, and then now she asks, has she thought about going into the broker side? Have you ever considered maybe either working as a freight dispatcher, a freight broker agent, or even entering into that?
I have thought about it. I would probably lean more towards the agent side of it for me personally. But it's always been a financial issue.
Okay.
You know, because it costs money to get started.
Yeah, that's true. You guys got to get you have to get a surety bond. A surety bond's like $75,000.
Right.
Sometimes you have to have contingent cargo insurance depending on what kind of shippers you're dealing with.
And if you're working intermodal like myself,
I didn't even think
the
about
rail
that.
yard also has certain insurances and
Wow.
clearances that you have to obtain as well.
Right.
That all cost money.
Yeah, that's good. So if you were considering entering even into maybe freight brokering, just keep in mind there's a lot of overhead costs. So you got to have a game plan and know for sure that it's going to be worth your while, spending and investing all that money. So that leads to the last question, and is what keeps you going after all these years? I love that question.
My love of it.
Love of it, right?
Yeah. Like there's a passion in me to succeed in this business. And no matter what company I'm with, I want them to succeed and I want myself to succeed.
That's good. So it all boils down to your love for it. You have to have a passion for it. I mean, why would I start a real estate business if I hate speaking to people? Why would I start a bakery business if I hate baking? I mean, it's kind of self-explanatory,
Right.
but you have to have a passion and a love for it. And so that's some really good advice. That basically sums up all the questions that, I don't want to overload you guys here, and maybe we can jump on here and maybe do this again. But me and Michelle actually are working on a couple of things. So we're still gonna do the freight dispatch course, and that's gonna be again for freight dispatch agents, people who want to learn how to jump into it and go work for a company. And then maybe in the future we might even be able to work with specific trucking companies who, we say, hey, look, we have a training course that teaches them how to do this, and we can, begin to, help you guys establish whatever resumes and stuff, so that when you speak to them, there's a relationship built where they understand, okay, their course is really teaching these guys what they should know, and you guys can just, start for some of these different trucking companies, whether it's a small fleet of 10 or a large company. But that's what the course is designed for. And then the other thing is the conference calls. We're speaking about maybe doing 2 at once. So each conference is going to be 15 people, but if we run 2, then that opens it up for 30. But I'm excited about that. It's going to be really fun. I have a lot of information that I'm going to be able to give you guys on that conference call. And then each person who takes the conference call is going to get a one-on-one with me afterwards, and we'll kind of walk through all the odds and ends of anything else you didn't get or need help with or assistance with. And so I'm excited about that. I haven't fully released the details yet, but I will, as far as pricing and tickets and everything like that. But if you're interested, please shoot me an email. The email is going to be in the description under this video. It's going to be courses@covenantdispatchllc.com. And the subject line, just put conference. And just kind of write me a message as far as, if you're interested in possibly entering, purchasing a ticket for the conference. And then we'll kind of go from there. But Michelle, I appreciate you so much.
Thank you,
for
Frankie.
doing this. I really, truly think it's going to help a lot of people who watch this video. I watch a lot of different people who do kind of interviews and stuff like that. And I feel like they just tell people what they want to hear.
Right.
But I feel like you were authentic and you gave some genuine information. And I built my channel on transparency and stuff like that. So people who watch these videos expect that, and I think they're going to definitely be satisfied with this. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Again, if you're interested in the conference, if you're interested in the freight dispatch agent course as well, shoot me an email and let me know. But I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.